Hey guys, I nearly fell going on the SETI then, that was really awkward. Anyway guys, this video obviously is about long distance relationships. I'm doing this video and I actually have a list for once with a terrible drawn kitty on it. I nearly said kidney. It's got little ears and eyes and a nose and a little teethy mouth thing. That was more of a spider than anything, but the reason I make this video is because people's messaged me on Instagram about it, they've commented on my photos, so it's kind of awkward. And one of my friends are in a long distance relationship now. Well, he's been in one for about, I think it's like 6 days or 7 days, around about that number. So just to let everyone know what they are like. Guys, one of the questions I get asked most frequently is, do you run out of things to talk about? Yes and no, because there are always things to talk about. So if you're worried about that, do not. It depends on the type of person. Like, if you have a lot of interest, obviously you can have more things to talk about. If you don't really have that many interests, you can still ask about things you're interested in. You can still talk about things you're interested in. If you do talk about things you're interested in though, make sure you leave time for the other person's interest. Me and Brianna have a lot of things in common. We like run the same type of music. I like every type of music, so that helps. We both like anime, which I'm going to do that again. We both like anime. Sorry, some people was extremely mad at me because in like one of my videos on Instagram, I like wore glasses obviously. I pushed my glasses up, but I pushed my glasses up my middle finger, and people got offended by that. So I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So let's do that again. We have run about the same type of music. We like both like anime, both like Final Fantasy and video games. So we have a lot of things to talk about. But if you didn't have that many things in common with the other person, I would still say ask about their interests, because it's always nice to ask about the people's. Now, things to talk about does get repetitive after a while, like how's your day, the most common things, saying I love you. It does get repetitive after a while, especially if you say it too much. Like, I am a bad person for saying that. I like to let the other person know how I feel a lot, so I'm kind of like almost always saying I love you, and yeah, so it's kind of really awkward. But that's just kind of the person I am, so yeah. Things you can do though, guys, if you feel like asking how are you, if it's getting repetitive, you could always ask, what have you done today? Instead of like, how are you? What are you up to? Ask, what have you done today? Like, Brianna obviously goes to school, because in America, you leave school at 18, over here you leave school at 16, so a bit of a difference. Just like ask her what classes she has, homework, stuff like that, what type of homework, and like what's her favourite class. So that's another thing to do. You can, if the person works, you can always ask how was the work, what did what was your favourite thing that happened today, and stuff like that, I guess. Hi guys, yes, I have a jumper on now because I've been recording this video for about an hour, and I have like 3 minutes of footage I can actually use. Like, one thing I've noticed, especially when we're Skyping, is we're always smiling for some reason, which is extremely nice because I've never had that in a relationship where I smiled all the time, and she was smiling all the time. Well, she smiles all the time, and it's extremely nice to have that. But the only problem with that is when we laugh and smile, after a while, anyone knows this, your jaw starts hurting. It's extremely awkward when you try to smile with your jaw aching, because you kind of like you pull that kind of face like, oh, my jaw. The only problem about smiling all the time is I don't like my smile, so I always try to cover it up. So every now and then you'll just see me put my hand over my mouth or something like that, so I cover up the smile. So yeah, that's kind of like my secret is just got out now. But Skype is a big part of our relationship because we use it obviously to call each other, use it to video chat. I don't think we've ever actually used it to call each other now. I think we always video chat, which is extremely nice because it's like, I think Brianna is like 3,600 miles away or something incredibly long like that, and I honestly have never felt this close to someone in a relationship, which is weird because considering the distance between us, but because we Skype all the time now, makes us feel extremely close. We use Skype to video chat on the weekends. If she doesn't have homework, we do it in the week. But our Skype calls have changed, because when we first started Skyping, there's a lot more jokes, there's a lot more like, yeah, and then things started to get a bit more repetitive, like when we Skype call, we'd ask about the same things. We'd like, oh, I love you, and we keep on. I'm terrible for that because I keep on saying it way too much in relationships. I just like the other person to know how I feel. So yeah, but now we kind of like noticed that was happening. So we started like having a bit more fun on the calls. Like we was playing Truth or Dare the other day, for example. She asked me to message my, well, she did me to message my friend saying I was gay, and my ear freshener went off, and that made me jump. The only problem with that was he replied to the message and was straight away, which I thought he was going to be like, haha, yeah, da da da. He messaged me back, serious, saying, I already know, mate. I was kind of like, Scott, I was joking. It was a dare. Because I only found out recently that most of the people I actually talk to now thought I was gay when I first started talking to them. I don't know, I'm not saying being gay is a bad thing or anything like that. I'm just saying, when you find out like 90% of your friends think you are gay, it was kind of just like, what do I do? I just realised what I do. I think it's the hand gestures all the time. And Skype guys, we usually Skype when we're watching a movie, which some of you might be thinking, how does that work? Like, we'll be watching a movie, we'll be reading or something like that, and it's just nice to have that person there, and knowing you can like just look down and they're going to be there, or like look anywhere wherever you have your phone and they're just going to be there. It's nice to see that. It's a nice feeling when you know you can do that. I think that's it for the Skype stuff, because yeah, the Truth and Dare thing, it's always nice to do that like every now and then, because obviously stuff will happen like that Scott situation where I found out everyone thought I was gay. It's funny because obviously we have different accents, so it's trying to get the other person to do that accent. Like, I think I tried to make Brianna say something in Welsh before, which sounded more Welsh than when I say it, so I was kind of just like, whoa. Because I'm a Welsh person that can't do a Welsh accent, anything. When I ask people to try to do a Welsh accent, the most Welshy thing apparently you can say it, and yes, that's the term over here, Welshy, is exploding carrots. And that, I just ruined that accent. Exploding carrots. So yeah, guys, Skyping is extremely fun. Especially knowing you can just see that person, and yeah. One thing I wanted to add in was family. I'm surprised no one asked me about this, because this is an extremely important part of any relationship, I would say. One thing I noticed straight away was how different American families are to British families. So that was a very interesting thing. But when I first actually got introduced to a family, I was extremely nervous because that's what type of person I am. If I meet anyone in person, I'm extremely nervous. If I meet anyone online, I'm extremely nervous. So I was like extremely nervous going into this, and within, I would say, 2 or 3 minutes, I was completely comfortable, because I first met her mother, and she was like making jokes about the accent, which made me feel like 10,000 times better about the situation, and incredibly comfortable, because I was kind of like really nervous, like, oh, is she going to like me, is she not? All the family I've met so far are extremely nice. They're for the relationship, so that was good. I'm incredibly thankful for that, because one thing I was worrying about when I first started talking to her family was if they don't like me, it's kind of gonna mess everything up, but I didn't realise how incredibly nice they are. I mean, they are like the nicest people in the world, so yeah, I'm incredibly thankful for that. And I don't really want to spend too much time talking about families, because obviously every family is going to be different, and just because Brianna's family is extremely nice and accepting the relationship, not every family is going to, so I didn't really want to talk about this for that long, so we'll move on to the next subject. Me and Brianna talk about this quite a lot, hypothetically. But I got to the point where I was like, I really want to go over there and see her. So, first thing I did, made sure I had enough money, checked round about how much the flights were going to be. I didn't know a definite price, but I knew round about the price range. Hotels. I found out I had enough money. I don't really spend money on anything other than like clothes and drawing software. I worked out how much I would make as well by the time I ordered the tickets, and by the time in between ordering the tickets and actually going over there, how much I would have made then, so I'd have more money to go over there with. And after I worked all out, I talked to Brianna about it, which she talked to her family, and her family's okay with me going over there. The only problem was the hotel. I wanted to stay in a hotel, and Brianna and her family was kind of like, no, if you're going to come over here, you're spending, you might as well stay at one of our houses, because I could have stayed at Brianna's house or her grandmother's house. I felt like if I stayed at their house, I'd feel like I was a bit of a burden, and because if I stayed at Brianna's house, I would be sleeping in her room, and she'd be sleeping in her mother's room. So I felt like I was kicking her out of her room a bit. But she gave me the option to either stay at her house or don't come over. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'll stay at your house then. I'm not gonna get much sleep. I'm just gonna be like. But I think some of it was when they said I could stay at their house as well. It was kind of like there is a difference between saying you like the relationship and you're all for it, and talking to the person and then trusting that person enough to actually let them stay at your house for 2 weeks. So when they said I could, I was kind of just like, I don't even know how to explain the feeling. I was kind of like, I was happy, but I was extremely happy, and then I was kind of like a bit emotional, which is incredibly embarrassing to say. I was kind of like, there's loads of different emotions that's going around. And yeah, we have a date that I'm going over there. We have a date that I'm coming back. We have a date that I'm ordering the tickets, ordering the visa, passport, everything like that. So hopefully that's going to all come through in time, which it should, because I looked it up and visas can take up to 2 days to actually complete and then to authorise, and then send out to you takes about a couple of weeks. Passports take up to 2 weeks to come, so I'm ordering them now next month. So yeah, hopefully it's all going to work out lovely. I finished talking about all the ups of a long distance relationship, how it makes me happy and everything like that. One major thing I have to mention though is when that person is down, you feel absolutely useless because you can't be with them in person. Yes, you can message them, but it's kind of like if somebody you know in person is down, what would you rather do? Message them or just be like, come on, it's okay, and be in person with them? It's like that in a long distance relationship, but it's like 10 times worse because there hasn't been like a lot of times where one of us has been down, but there was one time where she was down and I was messaging her and I felt like it wasn't working. I felt absolutely useless, but after it she was saying how it helped her, so I felt a bit better. But that's one thing I would say about long distance relationships is when that person is down, you will feel it like 10 times worse. It's probably one of the worst feelings in the world. On top of the feelings, make sure you tell them how you feel, because in person you can kind of tell by the body language and all like that. There's none of that obviously over a phone. You can kind of tell a bit, but that's where I think I come in a bit too much, because I like letting the person know how I feel and telling them, but I might do it a tiny bit too much. So that's one problem of mine. Anyway guys, I think that's the end of this video now, because I have to make 2 more videos today, and I've been making this for about an hour and a half, and it's like a 5-minute video, so yeah. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Hope this helps some of you who's been asking me questions. If not, if you want to know anything else, just DM me on Instagram. You also have it on Instagram because you DM me on there before, so just find that conversation, click on it, type a message. Type a message, guys, and yeah. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching.